Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Curse of Oak Island recap. The team could be just days away from the money pit and untold riches. This week on The Curse of Oak Island, the guys were continuing to drill at borehole RF1, hoping to break through to the money pit. Working on information learned just last week that there's a treasure vault-shaped anomaly buried at 160 feet. That's 13 feet by 13 feet, the same diameter as the money pit found in 1795. The guys aimed the giant oscillating drill in that direction ever since. At the start, the results looked pretty good. The hammer grab brought up a lot of timber, which the guys decided was older than any they'd seen before. A lot of these beams had Roman numerals on them. Terry Mathieson speculated they were a construction guide for the original builders of the money pit. As they approached 160 feet, the hammer grab pulled up a big metal sheet. Rick said, "That's a shield." The guys believed that this was the metal shield used by William Chappell and his men in 1931 to protect themselves from flooding and cave-ins. The chapel shaft was thought to have fallen just shy of the money pit, which meant the guys could now have been merely a few away from the treasure vault. Nothing on Oak Island is easy. But because this is Oak Island and nothing is easy here, they hit a snag. A buildup of pressure on the oscillating drill caused a bracket to break on the crane, which shut down the operation. Something big and hard was in the weight of that drill, and it wasn't going to shift easily. Marty Legina asked, "It's grinding on something. Is it something we want to find?" Vanessa Lucido, CEO of Row C Drilling Equipment, suggested they stop drilling and use the weight of the hammer combined with gravity to try to dislodge the object before continuing. The team expected this to take a few days, so they decided to pack up and go home for the night. The Oak Island team searched for treasure at Samuel Ball's home. But we all know the guys can't sit around and do nothing for long, right? They turned their attention to Lot 25, which is the area where 18th century Oak Island landowner Samuel Ball had his property. Ball, a former slave from South Carolina, arrived on the island just after the American Revolution as a humble cabbage farmer, but went on to become very wealthy and own a large part of the island. "It's a real rags-to-riches story," said Oak Island historian Charles Barkhouse. Many speculated Ball's wealth was possibly due to discovering and perhaps hoarding some of the Oak Island treasure. Working on information that an underground tunnel-shaped anomaly was under Lot 25, Jack Buckley was handed a spade and told to start digging. He did not disappoint, as a short time later, he unearthed a tunnel entrance. The whole team gathered to watch a small camera fed through the tunnel. The guys were already asking if this could be where Ball hid the treasure. A rock blocked the path of the camera, but left the guys wondering if it was intentionally hiding something. As Marty said right at the end of the episode, typical of Oak Island, it never goes easily. On a misty morning, as the wind howled through the ancient trees of Oak Island, the fellowship gathered with anticipation dancing in their eyes. The island, cloaked in layers of mystery and elusive treasure, was once again beckoning the Lagunas and their crew, whispering the promises of untold riches and the secrets of the money pit. This chapter of their relentless quest felt different. Something in the air, in the very ground beneath their feet, suggested they were closer than ever before. For years, the money pit had played its ghostly game of hide and seek with treasure hunters, offering clues only to pull them deeper into a labyrinth of booby traps, misinformation, and centuries-old puzzles. Now, as Marty and Rick Legina stood over the latest borehole, the weight of history seemed to press down on their shoulders. But there was also hope, a glimmer of something special. Could they truly be just days away from the fabled money pit? Could their next move finally unveil the elusive cache of treasure said to be buried deep within the island's heart? The morning's briefing started like many others, but with a tension that was almost palpable. Craig Tester unfurled a new set of data, ground-penetrating radar readings, geological surveys, and a set of drilling reports from their latest operation in borehole F8.5. All signs pointed to something significant just a few feet below. There was a chamber, a void unlike any they had encountered before. This could be it, Craig announced, his voice calm but brimming with excitement. The crew gathered around, eyes wide, their hearts racing. Marty, ever the skeptic but no less committed, raised an eyebrow. "We've been close before," he reminded them, his pragmatic tone a splash of cold water on the team's rising hopes. "But if this is the real thing, if this is the money pit, we need to tread carefully. We've seen how this island fights back." Indeed, Oak Island had always resisted, as if guarding its secrets with an ancient malevolence. The team had encountered flood tunnels that sprang to life, sending water gushing into their freshly dug holes. There were the strange coconut fibers, traces of a long-forgotten filtration system. And, of course, the infamous box drains that made the island's treasure almost impossible to reach. But this time, they had new technology on their side, as well as a deeper understanding of the island's complex geology. Rick, the dreamer of the group, couldn't hide his optimism. His entire life had been shaped by the legend of Oak Island and the stories of the treasure buried deep below. It had started with a childhood article he had read, something about pirates, treasure chests, and unbreakable curses. Now, standing on the precipice of discovery, he allowed himself to feel the excitement, to dream of what lay beneath the earth. "This could change everything," he said softly, gazing at the borehole. Gary Drayton, ever the dashing treasure hunter with his trusty metal detector at the ready, had his own thoughts. "If there's treasure down there," he said with a grin, "I'll sniff it out." "No doubt about it, Nate." The Englishman had uncovered relics from the 1600s to the present, each find a tantalizing breadcrumb in the trail leading to the money pit. But even Gary knew that the final piece of the puzzle was still missing, the key to unlocking Oak Island's greatest secret. Jack Begley, wearing his signature determined expression, adjusted his hard hat. For him, this mission was personal. He had lost his father, Dan Blankenship, to the island's obsession, and now it was up to him and his comrades to see it through. "If this is the money pit," Jack muttered under his breath, "we owe it to all those who came before us to finally crack it open." The next step was critical, drilling into the chamber below the borehole. They had pinpointed the location, and now, as the drill bit roared to life, every eye was on the machinery. The sound of grinding metal and earth filled the air, punctuated only by the occasional shout from the team. Foot by foot, inch by inch, they descended deeper into Oak Island's dark heart. After what felt like hours, the drill bit suddenly met with resistance. A thud echoed up through the ground, followed by an eerie silence. The machinery strained, groaning as it met an immovable object. "Shut it down," Rick yelled, waving his arms. The crew scrambled to kill the power, and the sudden quiet that followed was deafening. "What did we hit?" Marty asked, stepping forward to examine the readings. The drill operator, wiping sweat from his brow, shook his head. "It's not rock, it's something else, something solid, like wood or metal." Gary's eyes lit up. Could be a chest. Or a vault. The team gathered around as a core sample was pulled up from the depths. The tube, filled with dirt, clay, and fragments of what appeared to be wood, was handed over to Rick. He examined it closely, heart pounding in his chest.